We mentioned North Korea tested another intercontinental ballistic missile Tuesday. The move comes 1 week after President Trump declared North Korea a state sponsor of terrorism. David Martin has more from the Pentagon.
It was North Korea's third test of an ICBM. The other two took place this summer. And according to Defense Secretary Mattis, it went further.
It went higher, frankly, than any previous shot they've taken. It's a research and development effort on their part to continue building ballistic missiles that could threaten everywhere in the world, basically.
The missile was fired from a mobile launcher just north of the capital of Pyongyang and flew for more than 50 minutes, climbing more than 2,300 miles into space before splashing down in the Sea of Japan. Because it was fired at such a high angle, the missile was never a threat to the United States. But calculations done by David Wright of the Union of Concerned Scientists showed that had it been fired on a standard trajectory, it could have traveled 8,100 miles, far enough to reach Washington, D.C. or anywhere else in the U.S. Within minutes of the launch, South Korea conducted a missile firing drill of its own.
The South Koreans have fired some pinpoint missiles out into the water to make certain North Korea understands that they could be taken under fire by our ally.
Secretary of State Tillerson called for stricter enforcement of UN sanctions against North Korea, including the right to stop, board, and search vessels transporting goods to and from the North. Secretary Mattis called this latest test a research and development effort, which means North Korea still has some more tests to conduct before it will have a reliable intercontinental ballistic missile. But that day is coming as early as next year. Elaine?
Well, David, this latest missile traveled a greater distance than the previous two this year. What do we know at this point?
Well, we know that if that missile had been fired on a standard trajectory, it could have reached anywhere in the United States. The North Koreans are deliberately firing these intercontinental ballistic missiles at a very high angle so that they don't travel very far out to sea. Most U.S. intelligence analysts believe that before North Korea can have an intercontinental ballistic missile it can really count on to perform, it will have to conduct a test at full range. In other words, fire a missile out over the Pacific Ocean to a range of 3,500 miles or more. They have not done that yet. That is what you need to do to prove that the missile can withstand all the stress of intercontinental flight.
Well, in your piece, Defense Secretary Mattis said a missile from Pyongyang could soon reach any point on the planet. Sanctions seem to have done little to impede the North's nuclear efforts. So what sort of options does the Trump administration have at this point?
Well, the one they would like to have is the right to stop, board, and search vessels carrying goods to and from North Korea. They have asked for that at the UN, and the UN Security Council has not approved that, and it's usually vetoed or at least discouraged by Russia and China. But that would close a lot of the loopholes in the sanctions. Of course, it would also considerably raise tensions with North Korea.
All right, David Martin at the Pentagon for us. David, thank you so much.
Sure thing.